Debuting in Eternal Warrior number 4 in November 1992, before earning his own title in Bloodshot number 1 in 1993, published by Valiant Comics, Bloodshot was the creation of Kevin Van Hook and Don Perlin. The 1990s was a time of stories filled with cyborgs and cyberpunk themes, and Bloodshot came on the heels of another comic book revolution of the 80s dark, gritty stories such as The Dark Knight, a cyborg anti-hero searching for his true memories. Today we take a deep dive into the world of Bloodshot. But before we go into our explanation, we do have a small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. It's a small click for you, but for us it means an awful lot. Thank you very much. Now let's begin. Who is Bloodshot and how was he created? A shady government organization experimenting to build the perfect super soldier. That's where the story of Bloodshot begins. Project Rising Spirit, the organization responsible for Bloodshot, had been experimenting for years to build the ultimate warrior, but they continued to fail. The main problem was the subject's memories. They were aiming to replace the subject's real memories with curated narratives. This stuck for a while, but then the real memories would overpower the artificial ones and the subject would go wild, rendering the experiment a failure until Raymond Garrison came along. In the 21st century, with the help of artificial intelligence and Nanites, a breed of microscopic machine that could be injected into the subject's body, the project tasted its first success, and Bloodshot was born. He was a soldier with no fixed origin story. He was given a new set of memories for every mission and wiped into a clean slate for the next, making him the perfect weapon. The first memory of him being a soldier who wanted to protect his family is the realest one of them all. How did Bloodshot escape Project Rising Spirit? For a long time, Bloodshot was the military's favourite hitman. He was sent on standard government-sanctioned missions to the Middle East. Around the same time, Psiots, a human subspecies, was gaining prominence. They were a group capable of powerful psychic abilities and caught the attention of Project Rising Spirit. The project decided to shift their focus in order to neutralise them. Dr. Kuretich, a scientist for the Bloodshot project, decided to leave the organisation and joined the Harbinger Foundation, run by Psiots. On a mission in Afghanistan where Bloodshot was supposed to assassinate a young Psiot, he was captured. Kuretich reprogrammed Ray's memories to reveal to him how he'd been manipulated with manufactured stories about his life. Enraged by this betrayal, he promised to work with the scientist on the condition that the scientist would help him find his true story. What role did Bloodshot play in the Harbinger Wars? The Harbinger Foundation was led by Toyo Harada, who convinced Bloodshot with the help of Kuretich to go against his creators. He was paired with Pulse, a young Psiot with the power to disrupt technology and disable systems. Together they attacked a project facility in Nevada to free a group of young Psiots under the sadistic rule of a jailer named Gamma. The mission proved to be fatal for Pulse, which left Bloodshot alone to complete the task. Despite great challenges, he was able to achieve his objective, but to his surprise, the young group decided to form a separate violent entity called Generation Zero, which led to a larger conflict between Project Rising Spirit, Harbinger, and another Psiot group called Renegades, and of course Bloodshot. This chaos had been indirectly created by Harada in secrecy. In his attempt to protect the young Psiots and control the damage, Bloodshot was captured and imprisoned by Toyo Harada. Why did Bloodshot rejoin the project, and how did he escape again? When the project realized that their greatest weapon was in the custody of their biggest enemies, they decided to strike hard and retrieve Bloodshot from the Foundation. They had built a new team known as Hardcore, a team of artificially enhanced Psiots. Hard was tasked with the objective of infiltrating the headquarters of the Harbinger Foundation and extracting Bloodshot from Harada's captivity. The Core, well equipped to handle such a mission, completed it successfully and brought Ray back to Project Rising Spirit. The project offered Bloodshot a deal. They would give him access to his personal files to find his true identity if he agreed to serve them as the field leader of the Hardcore. This was all Bloodshot had ever wanted, a chance to find his answers, so he agreed. But it turned out to be a disappointment because the files he received contained only fragments of his real life. Instead of answering his questions, they further complicated the truth. He had been played again. He decided to bide his time and find the right opportunity to cut loose. He worked with the Corps and the project for a while, playing to their tune and gaining their trust. Once the trap had been fully set, Bloodshot escaped the project. For all his life, this was the first moment when Bloodshot had no master, no one to answer to. This time, he was a free man. How did Bloodshot participate in the invasion and war? Well, a weapon like him can only hide for so long. He had retreated from the outside world and was living in hiding in the Amazon jungle when he was located and captured by MI6 and Mero, the military extraterrestrial reconnaissance outpost. Earth was under threat from a highly advanced alien group known as Armor Hunters. They wanted to destroy any traces of the XO armor and any of its hosts, and Earth was the next target. Unity, a group of superheroes, was selected to fight off the invasion, and Bloodshot joined forces with them. His unique abilities proved instrumental in defeating the Armor Hunters and saving the planet. After the invasion, Ray decided to keep working for MI6 without a cause. He was sent on a seemingly simple mission to retrieve a box from the Pacific Rim, but the box contained the last hope of humanity against a powerful force known as the Immortal Enemy. Earth's heroes united under the leadership of Galad, the Eternal Warrior, to defeat the Immortal Enemy. Bloodshot was given the task of protecting Kay McHenry, a geomancer, and the physical embodiment of the planet's spirit. On this mission, Bloodshot and Kay grew close to one another. Her humanity convinced Ray that he could be more than a mercenary machine. As the heroes fell, Bloodshot tried his best to fight this enemy, but he was unable to defeat him. The Immortal Enemy killed Kay, leaving Bloodshot distraught once again. In her final moments, using whatever power she had left within, Kay rid Bloodshot of the nanites in his body, restoring his humanity. What happened during Bloodshot's rebirth? What is Bloodshot Island, and how did it challenge him? The last deed of a dying Kay gave Bloodshot the first real chance of living as an ordinary human being. He settled in Colorado and tried to live a normal, boring life, but the demons of his past were too big to ignore. He was haunted by the guilt of all the people he'd killed during all his missions, especially the death of Kay McHenry, which was a severely heavy burden. He started to have hallucinations, which included a vivid caricature of himself called Bloodsquirt, mocking and tormenting him further. If that wasn't enough, Ray discovers that the project was still continuing their gruesome deeds by converting ordinary people into killers. First-hand experience had taught him that this needed to be stopped. He reclaimed his nanites and once again took up the mantle of Bloodshot to stop the chaos. On his crusade, he saves and develops feelings for a woman named Magic, who gives Ray hope once again. He succeeded in stopping the outbreak of killers, but was captured and imprisoned on a mysterious island. He encountered a group of soldiers on the island known as the Bloodshot Squad. They were a band of warriors like himself who were previously subjects of the Bloodshot program. They had been gathered on the island to test the powers of a new deadly cyborg named Deathmate. It broke Ray's heart and soul when it was revealed that this was none other than Kay McHenry, who had been resurrected to make Deathmate. With the help of the squad, he was able to escape the island with a heavy heart while the project went on to their next sinister experiment called Bloodshot Virus. What was Bloodshot USA, and how did he stop the Bloodshot virus? Building on the experiment of converting normal people to Bloodshot-like soldiers, Project Rising Spirit created a nanite-based virus that upon infection could transform its victims into Bloodshot-like beings, although less powerful. When they released the virus upon New York, it caused massive destruction and havoc. Bloodshot and the hero team Unity went on to counter it. A lot of heroes fell in this battle, and Bloodshot discovered that he could absorb the nanites. So while Unity fought off the infected hordes, Bloodshot went to the main target, Deathmate. He was able to free her of the project's control, and she came back to her senses, and they embraced one another. Magic saw this from the side, and she felt awkward about her relationship with Bloodshot. Despite their efforts, the virus was spreading faster than they could control. Kay used all of her powers and absorbed the virus into her body, sacrificing herself in the process. After things cooled down, Ray found Magic and explained to her that he only wanted to be with her, despite Kay being alive, and they decided they would settle down together. What happened to Bloodshot's family during Salvation? For a while, Ray and Magic lived a happy, peaceful life, and they even became parents to a baby girl named Jessie. But when Ray finds out that Magic's father, a rather evil man, is alive and planning to recruit Magic to join a cult, he sets out to kill him. He successfully eliminates the cult leader, but in the process his abilities and nanites were deactivated by the mysterious Project Omen, a newer version of Project Rising Spirit. Weakened by this, he was captured in the cult's camp. With the help of of another superhero named Ninjak. He was able to escape the camp only to find out that his daughter had been infected by the Nanites and was staring at certain death. Science was unable to cure her. Aggrieved by this, Bloodshot ventured into the supernatural. He took his sick daughter to a strange land of the dead known as Deadside. He battled scores of demons, and with the help of another hero known as Magpie, he reached the house of the dealmaker, Baron Samedi. He cured Jessie of the virus, and this resulted in the unnatural growth of her being transformed into a younger girl. Now it was Bloodshot's turn to pay his dues. He was cast into the 41st century to kill a mysterious target to honor his side of the bargain. How did Bloodshot confront his fate in the Book of Revelations? During the virus outbreak, Bloodshot and Magic adopted Bloodhound, a dog enhanced with the same nanites. Samedi infused one of the minions into Bloodhound to keep Bloodshot company on the mission. Samedi's agent informed Bloodshot that the man he had been sent to kill would soon enough gain enough power to challenge Samedi in the future. In this barren land of the future, Bloodshot did not want to kill a man who had yet to commit a crime, but he was reminded of what hung in the balance, his daughter Jessie. So he decided to find this man and kill him. He would have achieved this had he not been interrupted by the strangest thing, his own self. He was standing face to face with Bloodshot of 4002, who was trying to convince Ray not to do this and to save his daughter some other way. Meanwhile, Bloodhound was possessed by another sorcerer from the 21st century, Punk Mambo, who established the connection between the dog and Magic. She was beyond happy to see Bloodshot was alive, but before he could talk further, the connection was broken when Magic and Mambo were attacked. Scared for his family's safety, he ignored the future Bloodshot and shot and killed the man Samedi was after. The minion opened the portal, and as he was stepping through, Ray told the future Bloodshot that he could not escape his destiny as a killer. He came back to find that Project Omen had his daughter. He attacked their base with the help of Bloodshot's squad, freeing his daughter and reuniting his family. What was Bloodshot's involvement in Harbinger Wars 2? Unknown to him, the real objective behind Bloodshot's creation was to combat psiots. He encountered them again when Livewire, a technopathic psiot who caused a nationwide blackout to stop the government from killing psiots, needed his help. So she knew he wouldn't do so willingly. So she got into his brain and started to control him. She sent him to Loveboat, an old military vessel that was being used as a base of operations. Geomancer Tama was on the ship and was using her powers like a living battery to maintain operations. Under the influence of Livewire, he confronted Tama and an old foe named Exo Man of War. Livewire corrupted his nanites and turned him into a demon-like creature. Despite all his resistance, he couldn't stop himself sinking the ship on Livewire's command. He was only able to stay alive due to his regenerative abilities and fled the scene to find peace again. What is the long shot, and how did it define Bloodshot's journey? He left his old life behind and fled to Russia to live as a common drunkard named Mr. Janus, to avoid the public eye. He was recognized by a GATE agent, which stands for the Global Agency for Threat Excision, to help him bring down a woman kidnapping ring in the area. Bloodshot, not looking for attention, declined the offer. The agent carried on the mission alone and died in the process. This filled Bloodshot with grief. He came out as Bloodshot once again, dismantled the crime ring and started traveling the world to help people. He was in Yemen feeding starving families when he was attacked by a shadowy group called the Black Bar. The Bar was a paramilitary organization tasked with hunting down rogue cyborgs and superhumans, like Bloodshot, and he had long been their primary target. After fending off Black Bar's agents, he soon discovered their secret weapon, Iodolan, a psiot known as DNA Whisperer, who had been trained by Bloodshot himself when he was working with Project Rising Spirit. They were able to capture Bloodshot with the psiot's help, but the twists didn't end here. Black Bar's plane was attacked by a secret spy group called the Burned, who rescued Bloodshot and took him to their covert base called the Desolate House. How does Bloodshot's nanite-enhanced physiology work? Nanites are self-replicating microscopic machines that live in Bloodshot's bloodstream and muscles. They provide him with superhuman strength, agility, and speed. They run on protein and give Bloodshot his special powers. They can regenerate his muscles and protect him from serious injuries, diseases, and even fatal wounds. He has recovered from a broken neck in the past and survived a full-on body being ripped in half. He was also able to survive his connective tissue being being burned down by Eidolon, and even the catastrophic disintegration when Love Boat was destroyed. Because the nanites require protein to function, Bloodshot has to consume huge amounts of food to keep everything running smoothly. The nanites, being machine, can also convert his body into a living computer, capable of interacting with other machines and processing huge amounts of data. Can Bloodshot replicate himself or transfer his consciousness? Yes, he can. The nanites are capable of going beyond their intended function to give him more powers. Eidolon's DNA manipulation allows Bloodshot's nanites to create multiple copies of his physical form, which allows them to fight as a group. The same manipulation allows him to transfer his consciousness to other bodies and systems, which significantly improves his chances of survival and tactical advantage. Can Bloodshot phase through dimensions, and what makes his burnt ghost mode so unique? Bloodshot is able to use dimensional phasing to visit a pocket dimension where the headquarters of the burned are located. He can use this to shift in and out of reality at will. The burned ghost mode is a unique state when his body is pushed beyond limits by the nanites. It makes him appear as a burnt, charred ghost, which can scare enemies. It also makes him highly deceptive as he can move without being noticed. Despite the charred appearance, the nanites continue to operate at full efficiency, giving him all the usual powers. Does Bloodshot's nanotech grant invisibility and tactical advantages? The nanites are capable of bending light around his body in such a way that it makes him invisible. This is exceptionally useful in stealth and covert operation. It can also blend him in with his surroundings, making it extremely hard for him to go detected by his enemies. Additionally, nanites can analyze and interpret the environmental data, giving them an advantage on the battlefield to choose the best strategy. They can also reduce his physical sound as he moves, and they can lower his heat signature to avoid detection by his adversaries. Who would win in an epic showdown, Bloodshot or Deadpool? Deadpool has raw power and marksman capabilities coupled with immortal level regeneration. The nanites in Bloodshot's body give him all sorts of tactical and technological advantages. He's also able to strategize better, plan his moves according to the situation, and mend his body to suit his situation. In a short planned fight, Bloodshot would be able to defeat Deadpool, but in a long, prolonged battle where nanites need fuel and time to recover, Deadpool takes the victor tag because of his unending regenerative capabilities. Marvelous verdict. With a life story that never seems to find a peaceful end, Bloodshot has been the face of Valiant Comics and then Valiant Entertainment. With similarities to characters like Wolverine and Deadpool and the Weapons X program, he still has been able to carve out a name for himself. One of the front runners of the anti-hero archetype, Bloodshot's story continues to evolve, and we hope to see more of his adventures in a future episode of Marvelous Videos. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't done so already. Otherwise, have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.